are back for another episode of Get a Load of This. From the Silver Creek Studios, I'm Jared.
And I'm Ryan.
We promised to get along this time.
Oh, I don't know about that. We're going to do our best.
Yeah.
We're going to, I've decided I'm just going to agree. I'm just going to, yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm just going to, whatever Jared says, man. Mm-hmm. Yep, sure. Now, whenever the microphones are off, who knows what might be said. But for the sake of time.
You know who never got vaccinations? Jesus.
No, well, you can't vaccinate yourself from fucking crucifixion.
Hey, especially if you weren't real.
Well, and also the tetanus shot that he probably should have got for getting that nail in his hand.
Yeah, that's the word. Tetanus will kill you.
Yeah, that's probably what it did him in, Think about it.
Yeah.
He would have been fine. It was a fucking tetanus. Anyway.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So, what's new?
I didn't start it. For everybody out there, he keeps fucking opening the bag.
No.
He opens Pandora's box
to just
and
agree.
expects me to just, okay, Jared.
You said you'd agree.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, that's right, Jared.
Well, it happened. It's finally here.
What?
Coronavirus is in St. Louis. Some asshole brought it here.
Yeah.
You're not worried about it?
Chick, wasn't it?
Right, it was a chick. Chicks can be assholes.
Some broad, yeah. Well, it's a big city. It was in Chicago before that. I mean, we live, in Illinois, but we don't live. We live closer to St. Louis than we do Chicago, obviously. But the Chicago cases were a little scary, just because it was like, oh, okay, that was as close as it got to us or whatever. Yep. But then you realize, like, okay, we're talking about like however many cases at the time.
Yeah,
a handful, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was one to begin with.
Yeah.
Out of how many millions of people?
Right.
The odds of running into that asshole or touching the handrail that he sneezed on or she, whatever, were pretty slim. But now it's like, all right, well, we don't know. The more I listen, the more I read. I was talking today. I was like, I am not a denier. I've said it on the last one. I was like, we need to be concerned. Mm-hmm. We need to be aware. I felt before like the media was blowing this up into something that it isn't. Mm-hmm. But we need to be, conscious of it, but not alarmist. We can't fucking change everything with something that we don't really know enough about. Well, now it seems like we still don't know shit.
Yeah.
But more and more cases keep cropping up, and it's like, all right, well, now how do you stem this spread? And
here's how quickly it can get close to home. So,
you've got it.
I have it. No.
God damn it.
Bill does though.
Jesus. Fuck Bill.
No. Full disclosure here. Bill stayed home all day the next day after we hung out with him, and
really
he was sick. But he actually, according to him, I just talked to him today. He got tested for coronavirus.
Really?
And was negative. He doesn't have it, supposedly.
So I thought the test kits or whatever were so scarce.
And he said, no, that's the media fucking with us. That's what he said. I don't know. And he went to Lattimore, so.
All right. Well, my wife, she was dealing with some, we'll just call it a case of the funk. I don't know. She was not feeling good. Mm-hmm. She came home from work on Friday feeling shitty, and but she never had a fever really, and she just was coughing and had a like sinus headache and swollen, swelling head feeling. Right. She didn't look swollen, but she had that sinus headache, sinus pressure. And she's done. She's over it. So she called
I think Bill's over his.
She called the doctor Monday and asked for something, and they gave her a Z-Pack or whatever. And so she's taking some antibiotics, and hopefully it'll get rid of it altogether. But she's already doing better.
Well, so this gal who apparently brought it to St. Louis, and then her family. We can get into this a little bit. Her family broke quarantine and all that, right?
Yeah, fuckers.
So one of the allegedly.
Why the fuck would you do that?
Well,
what kind of assholes? I mean,
I know.
Fuck.
But if you
kind
believe
of people that don't get fucking vaccinated,
if you believe them and their lawyers, watch it, Ryan. They were not told to quarantine when the initial reports said that they were told.
Do you need to be told?
Well, that's what I said. Common sense tells you. But okay, we'll get into that in a minute. So apparently, the wife. So there's the daughter, and then the father and the other daughter went to this dance or whatever. So the mother, this husband and wife, one of the things she did to break quarantine was she went to her exercise class at this gym or whatever.
Oh, right? My God, I hate these people.
And supposedly the guy that runs that gym, his wife is friends with a guy I work with, and they live in St. Charles. And so he's like, yeah, my wife is friends with his wife. He was at the gym where she worked out, blah, blah, blah. Now here I am sharing an office with this guy. I think you have coronavirus now, basically, is what I'm getting at.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, right. So, it doesn't take much before you know somebody who knew them and saw them, and
See, we should have been prepared for this by the, what is that, the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, or 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon? Whatever it is. I mean, this is basically what we're playing, like a real fucking cutthroat game of Kevin Bacon here.
Yeah. So let's get into how big of assholes this family is.
How come no one's made that fucking, drawn that connection that this is like a real cutthroat game of Kevin Bacon? That's fucking funny.
Wait, why is what? I don't get it.
Because I mean, basically that's what we're dealing with here, right?
Yeah.
Like how far disconnected are you from Corona?
No, that's true.
I mean, we're all living this like weird fucked up game right now.
Who do you know that knows someone that? Yep. That,
like I'm 4 stages away apparently because of your dumbass.
You're right there. I know. You're welcome. I could have told you this before you came into my house.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah. So okay. So here apparently the initial report came out that this family broke quarantine. And that the dad and the other younger daughter wanted to go to a father-daughter dance at some hotel, the Ritz-Carlton, I believe. And
so both of their fucking sneezing, fevery asses decided they wanted to go to a fucking father-daughter dance.
They didn't have anything. It was the other sister that had it. It's the 20-year-old that was in Italy on student whatever that brought it home.
Entitled little bitch.
Right. And so now, the initial report was that they were told to stay home, self-quarantine, and that they decided not to and went to this dance. And everybody was all pissed. We should sue them. The hotel should sue them.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Negligence.
But now, as of yesterday, their lawyer is saying, no, they were not told to self-quarantine until the night of the dance when they left.
Look.
But they should have known anyway.
Okay. I'm going to draw a connection here, right? Okay. Let's say... you bang abroad. She tells you, hey, by the way, got AIDS.
Right.
Congratulations. Now you have AIDS. Right. Now that's a douchey thing to do, right?
It is, yeah.
But now you know that you've banged abroad with AIDS.
Used to be criminal.
You don't know if you have AIDS or HIV. Yeah, right. You just know that you might because you've been in contact with the person. Now you go off and you start railing out anything with a hole in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And now what's going to happen then? If you infect somebody, because you know you were exposed to it, and there's a high likelihood that you have it, and you've gone on and you've put other people at risk knowingly.
Right.
Yeah, I believe there's some legal ramifications there.
To their defense,
beer.
Okay, we're going to interrupt this presentation with another presentation of a beer taste test. Can we tell the difference?
I feel like we've done this before. By the way, the jelly jar is Keystone.
Come on now. You don't know.
I'm fucking telling you.
What?
That's a jelly jar, isn't it?
He's already guessing before we've even gotten the beers presented to us. I will say I wish you'd put them all in the same glass, but thanks, honey.
I would have been confused.
But thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what we're doing. We've already know what the two kinds of beers are.
Hold on. I might change my tune on this.
Changing it already. We've got, because Ryan and I have been drinking it a little more lately, Coors Light on the one side and cheap Coors Light, Keystone Light, on the other. Can we tell the difference?
So until tonight, I really never
between
thought
Coors
of that
Light and Keystone Light
parallel. I never thought that they were.
I could be wrong, but I think Keystone is just the Busch Light compared to Budweiser. It's Busch and Bud, Keystone and Coors.
Busch Light is to Busch, I would say. Bud Light is to Bud.
I'm saying Busch and Busch Light are the cheaper versions of Bud and Bud Light.
Mm-hmm.
Busch is a cheaper Bud.
Fair enough.
And then you got Light. And I think Keystone is the cheaper Coors.
Right.
I think.
Fine.
Maybe not. Right in. So anyway,
they tend to do that when they disagree with us. They tend to write tersely worded emails in our direction.
The reason I even thought about doing this was because
it was a piece of their mind really about this.
I've been drinking a lot of Busch Light recently, but I started because of Ryan drinking some Coors Light, and I thought, man, these are really similar.
Everything is blamed on me.
It's your fault. And
Kristen blames his alcoholism on me.
Yeah. I looked them up, and I'm pretty sure they both, Busch and Coors, are a corn-based product as opposed to rice, which would be Budweiser. So I think that's partly why they're similar. But anyway, I was like, man, these are similar. So I was going to do a taste test with Busch Light and Coors Light, but then I thought, well, let's just stay within the one brand and go Keystone and Coors Light. So
Kristen,
here we go.
Kristen, I don't want to gross you out, but I'm going to say this anyway. Hey, you ever have that, when I know you only poop like once a month or something like that, but when you do, you ever have that like mystery corn in there where you're like, I don't remember eating corn?
I don't eat a lot of corn, but...
I mean, but does that ever happen? Where you're like...
I won't deny that it's happened.
That you're like, holy crap, how... Yeah?
Jeez, we got a...
Kristen has the mystery corn.
Yeah, apparently. Slightly more.
She poops more than Jared does. There's a little more information than we were counting on. But yeah, maybe it's because of the corn fillers. Maybe it's reconstructing the kernel in your spleen.
That makes sense somehow.
No, it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. But.
All right, so we've got to be honest here. Full disclosure, we got how would you describe this glass?
It's a rocks glass.
A rocks glass, and then you called it what glass?
It's a jelly jar.
Jelly jar. Okay, so kind of a small, skinny.
It's a
mason
fucking jelly jar. People know what a jelly jar is.
I've had when I get jelly, it's in a bigger jar than this.
Well, not homemade jelly.
I mean, when my grandpa made jelly at home, it was in a bigger jar than this.
Wow,
down in Tennessee. But okay, I can see what you
happened here that I'm not sure I'm a fan of. But anyway, which one are we going with first?
Let's go with the rocks glass.
Okay.
And you want to give a guess first or not? You kind of did.
I changed my mind. Before when she put them down, the jelly jar was sitting in front of the rocks glass, and it looked like it was a little darker, which is why I said that I think that's Keystone. But then I moved them side by side and I compared them, and they do really they look
pretty similar,
indiscernible. Yeah. They look very, very,
very, very much the
similar.
Same. Okay, let's go with the rocks glass first.
Okay. That's Keystone. Done. I don't even need to try the other one.
Okay. I'm also going to agree that this doesn't taste like what I think of Coors Light. That tastes very similar.
That tastes very similar. They are very similar. I will say that. And now I'm second guessing myself. I could be wrong.
Okay, going back to the first one.
And I feel like I can't taint the test and drink some of my Coors Light that I have sitting here.
Yeah, full disclosure, we were both drinking Coors Light before we started this test.
Dynamite Radio.
Yep.
A slurping beer.
Well, some people are into that.
I'm going to stick with my original assessment. The rocks glass is Keystone.
No, she probably fucked us. So like my rocks glass is not the same as your rocks glass. I would guess.
She's been known to do shady things like that. She did that last time, I think, that she mixed it.
Then she would get confused.
She needs to get her cheat sheet out.
So are you saying that the glasses are the same? Rocks and okay. All right. Well, I will agree with Ryan that the first glass does not taste like what I think of Coors Light.
Yeah, it's
but they're very similar.
They are very similar, but it's got a little different. I don't know, a little different. It's not even called I wouldn't even call it an aftertaste. It's
almost
like the immediately aftertaste. Maybe those glasses were just clean.
Maybe, yeah. Did you rinse these good? Okay.
So what is it?
So we're both saying Keystone in the big glass, Coors in the skinny glass.
You're wrong.
Wow,
really?
We both guessed wrong.
I think that they are very close. There's no doubt.
A little bit of the Keystone left because it
Wow. Okay.
No, I was doubting myself. I wasn't sure that
they're very similar in taste.
Fuck, I'm switching to Keystone.
Exactly. It's cheaper shit. Let's go Keystone.
Is it Keystone Light?
Yeah.
Is that what you got? Right on. Look at that. The more you know. We are here as a public service announcement to all beer drinkers out there, especially Coors Light drinkers. Let's go save yourself a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even. How much is it? Do they sell like this size? Because I do like the 9-16 ounce pint bottles.
Yes, that's
a good pack.
That's what I got.
Size.
Was the 16-ounce cans. Yep.
And I think it's the same as the 12-pack, right? 9-16-ounce bottles. That's 90 times 54 is 144. Yeah. So 12 times 12 is 144. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's the same as a 12-pack, but I just like the fact that I don't feel like I'm drinking as much. I don't feel like as much of a deadbeat because I'm only drinking 9 beers as opposed to 12.
If you're not paying attention, it looks like you only had 4 12-ounce cans, but really you had 4 16-ounce cans.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, that's good.
Yep. Good to know. See, we appreciate the cheaper beer. It tastes just as good. Looks the same.
Now, you had mentioned, before we get back onto what we were talking about, you had mentioned in a text that they had Budweiser nitro.
Yeah, have you heard of that yet?
I had not. The first I'd heard of it
just
was
read an article about it.
So basically, like I know Guinness is a nitro beer.
Yes.
There's multiple other ones, usually not packaged in a grocery store setting.
Right.
You don't find too many nitro beers, but there's a handful of them, I guess. But so you're saying this is a Budweiser nitro. So does that mean
lager.
it's just a Budweiser lager? It's just the gas that they've.
I believe so. I think.
Interesting.
Maybe there are some other ingredient differences, but I think it's mostly just kind of their normal lager with a nitrous oxide, I guess, right? Is that the...
I don't know.
Nitrogen,
not nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide would mean that if you light your fart after drinking a Budweiser nitro...
Or it's laughing gas, right? We would find ourselves hilarious on the podcast. Maybe we should...
I was going with like the car auto racing nitro, I don't know. I have no idea.
Nitrogen. So yeah, I think it's supposed to be this. They say it's the smoothest beer because of the bubbles.
Well, damn it! Now I want to try it.
I know, but they only had it in a 12-pack. I didn't know if we would like it.
Well,
or whatever. So
I'll take care of that.
If they had a
next time
6er,
around.
I would have got it. But
I'll pick up 12 of those, and
it'll probably be good.
It'll probably get drank. It's
and
not
I
like
wanted to do this.
You have to twist our arm to drink some beer.
They also had, and I don't think we've had this. It was the Jim Beam Black Lager. I think we had the Copper Lager, right? Or Jim Beam.
I don't know about black. I don't know.
Yeah, it was different, but it was fucking crazy. It was the same price for a Jim Beam 4-pack, and it wasn't 16s. It was 4 12s as a 6-pack of all the other ones. So,
and we talked about whiskey a little bit before we started, and I definitely taste the whiskey in those beers, and I don't think I like it. I mean, I don't mind it. It's definitely a beer, and the beer taste overpowers the whiskey. But I just, it doesn't float my boat. I mean, it's fine. I'll drink it, but it's not like
I feel like my favorite one so far of those Reserve or whatever they were was one of the first ones.
The Copper Lager.
It was either the Copper Lager or there was the George Washington, whatever that one was.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Washington, but it was something. Something on 4th of July or something like that.
Well, it was like made from one of his old recipes or something. But anyway,
made from his old teeth.
Those
they ground
were good.
up his teeth and filtered the beer through.
Yep.
And an old tube sock that he used
Speaking
to masturbate
gross, to. Yeah, thank you for that. So here's...
I felt like Joe was here for a second.
Yeah, tube sock jerking off into.
That's fucking had a flashback.
There you go, listeners.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of gross, so this... We'll just call her Patient X.
Yeah.
So apparently she's...
Do we know her name?
I don't think
Has she been... doxed?
Right. I don't think so. If they have, I haven't seen it.
See, when will that be a thing?
Yeah.
Whenever someone starts doxing these patients on Twitter or whatever, and people are like, going with fucking the literal pitchforks and tiki torches. And
now she was studying abroad in Italy, which is one of the main outbreak regions of this outside of China.
Yeah.
Italy is fucked right now.
I wonder why it's so fucked up there.
I don't know.
It seems like that, and Iran, I think, is getting hit pretty hard too. It's like, why? What's going on there? I mean,
it could just be they've had it an extra week longer, and we're about to be there. In fact, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. But anyway, she came back from Italy at the request, I believe, of the school. Like it was, we're bringing our students home. We don't want them over there, right?
Time out.
Yep.
I just finished the jelly jar, which was Keystone.
Yeah.
Yes, jelly jar's Keystone.
Yep.
It gets slightly warmer. It does taste. It tastes a little different.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's still good. It's just maybe it's because now it's in my head. Maybe I know now, but it just seems like it got a little warmer just the time it's sitting here.
Something about this glass of the Coors, I'm not digging it. It's like weird. It's got a weird flavor, so I don't know if it's the glass or what.
Maybe it's the arsenic she put in yours.
No, it was the X-Lax she put in there. I'll be shitting all night long. Yeah. All right. So she comes back to the States and apparently was given instructions.
Can we give her a name? Carla.
Okay. All right. Carla's fine.
Yeah. I was thinking something Corona, Carla. Okay. I don't know. It didn't really go, but let's go with that. Carla.
Okay.
Okay.
So Carla comes back to the States, apparently was given instructions about how to handle herself coming back. It was basically, you're going to have to check in here.
Did she know she had it at that point?
No, but she knew she was in a hot spot, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So she was told, everybody needs to do this kind of thing. Don't stay with people. don't take public transportation back home or whatever if you can drive from the
Don't
airport.
spit on
fine.
doorknobs or handrails.
So what does she
Don't
do?
lick turnstiles.
She arrives at O'Hare International in Chicago.
She licks the turnstile.
Stays for 2 days with her friends, then takes an Amtrak train back to St. Louis, which apparently she was told not to do.
What the
So now she's back in St. Louis, and a day or two later, she starts feeling symptoms. She goes to the hospital. Now, here's where you sort of have to defend the family. Allegedly, according to them and their lawyer, the doctor, and they released her from the hospital because they said your symptoms aren't bad enough to keep you here and whatever. And they said, we're going to test you for coronavirus because of where you were in Italy, but we don't think you have it. It doesn't look like coronavirus to us. And they let her go. So at that point, the family's like, well, okay. The doctor here doesn't think we have it. Doesn't think you have it. So I can kind of see why they might not take a self-quarantine serious, whether they were told or not. We're all saying, use common sense. But if a doctor says, yeah, we don't think you have it, but we're going to test it
we
anyway.
covered that in the last episode. Yeah. What do you call the guy that graduated at the bottom of his medical school class?
Right.
So I would not trust all of them. But but what I hear...
Then they the dad and the younger daughter, who's in high school, went to a party, a social gathering, and then went to this hotel for the daddy-daughter dance, where they then found out she did test positive, and they came home, and everybo's pissed at them now.
Yeah.
So.
No, and they probably brought a fucking bunt cake or something to the daddy-daughter dance, and now everybody, whatever. We're all fucked. So, but luckily, we're all taking our vitamins, so we should be in good shape.
It's like Flintstones.
Yeah. The irresponsibility. So the self-quarantining and that kind of thing, that was my original, not long ago, 4 days ago. Mm-hmm. My wife came to me and said, I'm really concerned. I feel like this is going to blow up and it's going to get really bad. Mm-hmm. And I was like, nah. It's going to be fine. Right. It's all just media bullshit. It's not that bad. And she said, well, why would you think that? And I was like, well, here's why. Because there's this imbalance of outrage versus action. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I'll give you a couple of examples. The idea of self-quarantining. If this disease is as threatening and as critical as we think it is, and I think everybody's beginning to acknowledge that it is, then why would the CDC, the World Health Organization, the European CDC, et cetera, why would they all just leave everybody to their own recognizance and say, just go ahead and stay in your house? Why wouldn't we be saying, no, you are required to, and if we discover that you have not quarantined yourself, you will be punished? Yeah. That's what they're doing in China.
Well, I think we can blame Trump because he said we've got this thing licked, right?
Well, sure, he did, as did others. That was my other example, is that Trump and Bernie and Joe are all doing rallies still. So even though they're advising, not they specifically, but politicians, pundits, media are all advising people to stay away from crowded gatherings of thousands of people. Yeah. Yet the three people that are still remaining, well, there's still Tulsi Gabbard. She's not holding too many rallies, though. But the three people that are legitimately running for office still are going ahead with their rallies. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. The imbalance of concern versus action, right? Yep. So we can sit here and talk about it and bloviate out of one side of our mouth, but then oh, no, we're still going to do that. Yeah. And furthermore, the three people that are running for office are all in their 70s. They're all prime candidates for catching this shit, but yet they're going to go to a fucking rally with thousands of people in a goddamn airplane hangar, wherever the hell they're going to, or in an old fucking gym or something like that.
Well, I want to read.
Joe Biden's walking through fucking GM plants in Michigan, telling people they're full of shit. They're full of shit, and he's eyeball to eyeball with these people. I'm like, look, dude, you're old. He's 78 fucking years old. All it takes for one of these auto workers to sneeze on his ass, and there we go. We lost a candidate, for Christ's sake. Four more years of Trump because of fucking some auto worker in Detroit sneezing on Joe Biden.
Yeah. So to the people who kind of think, well, this isn't that bad. It's how many deaths and cases have we had? Not that many, right? So I'm going to read a short paragraph from an article I read today.
Real reliable.
About-
hotair.com.
Well, it's from whatever. Someone, a listener sent this to us, Ryan. So we got to respect the fans.
Shampoo banana?
Somebody finally.
So, okay.
No, none of this is real. It's all just in his imagination.
Consider
it's like Fight Club. He's got that. What's that guy? That his alter ego. That's who Jared's dealing with in his head. Yeah. What the hell's his name?
Tyler Durden.
That's him. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tyler Durden.
I'm the Brad Pitt of this relationship, but
Thank you, Kristen,
on February
20th.
On February 20th, Italy reported 3 instances of infection and no known deaths. On February 21st, the next day, Italy had 20 cases and its first attributed death. Officials implemented intervention, including school closures, the following day and instituted a cordon sanitaire affecting 50,000 people. This is the next day after their first reported cases.
Italy.
That's aggressive, but it was too late. On February 22nd, the next day, Italy reported 63 cases and a second death. A little more than a week later, there were 2,036 cases with 140 patients in serious condition and 52 deaths. Today, and this was February 22nd to today, and actually I think this was written on
10th?
March 9th.
Okay.
Today's the 10th. The numbers continue to climb with more than 9,100 cases and 460 dead. So they
but
said
they're the northern Italians, though. It's
the
not.
numbers that the U.S. have right now roughly match up with what Italy had 10 days ago. So, yeah. We definitely could be, on the downward trend. Maybe it's going away. We've kind of got everybody's attention. We're cleaning things up. Or
we're not.
We're on the way up to thousands of cases and hundreds, if not thousands, dead within a week or two. So, yeah. What do we think? Are we overreacting?
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Are we underreacting?
I think, it's going to really fuck up St. Patrick's Day festivities, right? It's coming up in a week,
Is it?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got parades. We got shit
Fuck
we're
up
going to
St.
do.
Patrick's Day. Not my beer.
Yeah. Bring a whole new meaning to green beer. The green vomit that follows green beer. Hey, look, that's kind of what I was saying, is that it's too late. If we, I don't know if I said it before we started recording or not, but if we... We were talking about colleges.
Yeah.
We were talking about my kids down at Tulane. Your friend is at up around Champaign, Urbana area. There's a large university there. Vanderbilt has pretty widely known. They've told their kids coming back from the students coming back for spring break just to not come back and go the fuck home. So then we talked about the question of, well, maybe they'll just wait until the first case is in their midst. And that is the equivalent to waiting until the house is on fire before doing any fire prevention. So why not just prevent the fucking house from catching on fire? Let's stop it now, tell everybody to go the fuck home, and let's nip it as close as we can in the bud. But if we allow it to, we're not going to do anything until we find a case on campus. Well, by the time that case is on campus, who knows how much shit that motherfucker has sneezed on.
So I'll be the devil's advocate here for the case of not doing that, sending everybody home. I mean, what are we going to do? Just cancel all these classes? You got 50,000 students and 1,000 faculty, and you got
what's the harm in that?
Staff that work here and do that.
What's the harm?
I mean, it seems like that's
the harm
huge
is
monumental task.
It's a hit to the economy. People aren't going to, the professors are probably still going to get paid. But there's other people that work in the cafeterias that aren't going to have jobs for however long. So there's hits to the economy.
Yeah,
but that goes back to the cruise lines. Cruise lines are done, right?
Right.
I mean, at least for the foreseeable
I hope you bought
future.
Stock in the cruise lines.
Shorts. Hopefully you bought some puts. But I mean, the cruise lines are done. The airlines are hurting, and they're going to continue to hurt. Travel and vacation travel as we know it is completely and fundamentally changed, at least for the foreseeable, 3 to 6 months, I guess, foreseeable future, at least, maybe longer. Who knows? I mean, so yeah, I mean the economy is taking a hit, which is why the markets are taking a shit. Other than also Russia and others fucking with the oil markets, and Corey and I were talking about that day. Who was the other one? Russia, and he fucking told me. Who was it?
I don't remember, but I know you.
Damn it, he's gonna kick my ass for not remembering. We just had a conversation about like 5 hours ago. Anyway, but yeah, so you've got meddlers in the oil. Saudi Arabia. You got meddlers in the oil markets that are taking advantage of the vulnerability of the global markets. And that's what happened yesterday. The markets were down, 2,000 points, tripped the circuit breakers on the New York Stock Exchange. That's big. That doesn't happen all the time. Today they were up 1,000 points.
Right.
So we recovered 1,000. But still, overall, since the beginning of this market bullshit, we're down 5,000 points, and that's huge. It's not the end of the world. I mean, we're back to where we were like last September, October. So it's not like the world's going to end. Oh my God! The markets have just returned to where they were not that long ago. So it's not that big a deal. But anyway, point is that the industries are going to get hit. And so if the question is, well, what do we do about these professors? What do we do about these universities that can't? Tough shit. What do we do about the cruise line workers that aren't going to have a job? What do we do about the airline workers that aren't going to have a job? What do we do about the resort workers and at Disney World that aren't going to have a job?
Yeah.
And like they seem inconsequential, but these are their livelihoods. Yeah. Right. And this is the type of hit that the economy is going to take if this goes to where we think it's going to go. So Trump, I don't know if it's a real story or not. I didn't pay that close attention to the news, but he was, I think, advocating for a rescinding the income tax to federal income tax to zero, at least for a while.
I thought it was for businesses to collect on.
I did not read the article. I wasn't paying that close attention. I think the point of why he's trying to do that is he's trying to keep as much money in the system,
right.
So that companies can say, all right, we're going to give, we know that everybody's hurting. We know we can't afford to pay people that aren't actually doing a job because we're not selling a ticket on the cruise line, so we can't afford to pay someone, right? But if they give them money back and they don't take it out from taxes, then it gives them the ability, and hopefully the companies choose to do so, to give it to the people that are not going to be working for that.
Well, I know there was talk of legislation that would allow for 14 days of paid sick leave. So they were going to mandate that companies pay their employees for 14 additional days of sick leave if in an emergency. So let's say you got coronavirus, they say stay home, you're getting paid, don't worry about burning sick time or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like that's
and then
I
think to offset that was where the 0% tax on payroll. So it was a payroll tax where
it's not as simple as that.
Companies could afford to pay their employees the sick time.
You got your small mom and pop joint that can't afford to do that. If they're not making money, they can't pay.
But it was an attempt to try to find a way to make this happen.
But that's all goes back to the point that this is, if it's as big as what it appears to be, that it's an economy altering event, and let alone humanity altering, right? Potentially that it'll change the way that we act, that change the way that everybody, there's already, these weirdo germaphobes in our midst, Jared.
Weirdos.
And myself included too. But these people that, like myself, when's the last time you touched a door handle in a public place? You generally use your sleeve, or you find another way.
I just tell Kristen to get the door.
Yeah.
The stores are out of soap. That means
Yeah.
they haven't been washing their hands.
Well, that's what Tammy was talking about that too. That the stores are out of soap and toilet paper. It's like, why are these people making? Does that mean there weren't?
No one's wiping their ass?
Maybe it was my sister was talking about that. What were these people doing before that now all of a sudden there's this rush on things?
Well, I think it's just that they're stocking up. It's not that no one's washing their hands or wiping their ass. It's that they all have a shelf load of toilet paper.
I feel like they're stocking up the wrong things. If I had expendable income and I needed to go stock up on something, it would be food
and beer.
Yeah, because here's the thing, man. You ever? It's a stretch. Stick with me for a second. But when you're doing your laundry, Kristen, because I know he doesn't do laundry. Whenever you're doing your laundry and you have those like random mismatched socks, that's why you keep those around for whenever you run out of toilet paper.
And you're the one that does that laundry?
No, you just throw those fuckers away. Yeah, but you keep them around. Why else are you keeping them around? You're never going to find that missing fucking sock. You keep it so that in the event of an emergency, Yeah, it's the softest wipe you're ever going to find. You know. So there you go, Jared. Well, but now, we'll keep the plumbers in business. That's not bad. But what if the plumbers got coronavirus? Because who's going to install the bidet? You got to run pipes. You got to. It's too late for that. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, no, we're all fucked.
But so how do you react to the people who make it, who don't react to this? Like, whatever, it's just the flu.
People that don't get flu vaccines.
Way more people get the flu than coronavirus. Why are you guys freaking out? And it's like, okay.
Well, I was that person, and I think I still am to some degree that person, where it's like, it's not that big. But I'm turning that corner. And the big reason why I'm turning the corner is because Joe Rogan has a new podcast that just came out yesterday or today. I forget the guy's name. I can find it. I've only listened to about 30 minutes.
Please finish this one first, and then go listen to Joe Rogan.
Michael Osterholm. Michael. Joe needs our help. Yeah. Michael Osterholm is an internationally recognized expert in infectious disease epidemiology. Oof, that's a tough word. Excuse me. He's a Regents Professor, McKnight Presidential Endowed Chair in Public Health, Director of Center for Infectious Disease Research, and holy crap, a lot of things. Distinguished Teaching Professor in the Division of Environmental Health Sciences, School of Public Health. Wow, this is a lot of stuff.
Wow.
A professor in the Technological Leadership Institute, College of Science and Engineering, and an adjunct professor in the medical school, all at the University of Minnesota, where it's cold as balls. Look for his book, Deadliest Enemy: Our War Against Deadly Germs.
Yeah, but what has he really accomplished?
Yeah, he's definitely not short for credentials.
So that guy was on Joe Rogan.
So he's on. I've only listened to the first half hour of it, and it was enlightening. Basically, I don't know what Joe's stance on this was before. I hadn't listened to his show in a while. What this guy was saying was like, yeah, this is real shit, man. There's no, and then one of the questions was like, well, could it be man-made? Is it possible? And he's like, no, it's kind of they know the DNA of these things, right? They can break down this virus to the DNA level, and they're like, it's far too elegant of a thing for humans to be able to just create this and allow it to manifest and propagate.
Intelligent design, is that what you're saying?
Maybe. I just think it's. I mean, there's been countless examples of things just like this. If it's SARS or MERS or mad cow, they talk about mad cow a little bit. If it's the Spanish flu, there's all different examples, all kinds of different examples of these kinds of things, and they're all so different. And then whenever you break them down, one of the most interesting things he said was like, if you break it down, the DNA of this, like they can break it down and know like when it transferred from animal to human, and they say that was probably like late. What do you say? Like late November. They pinned that down through looking, just breaking it down under a microscope. They pinned down like about November. Great, So I was like, wow, that's fucking amazing,
Yeah.
But also, if we can get to that level, why can't we kill the motherfucker? Why can't we nip it in the bud? But I guess they're working on that. It takes time. It's going to take, probably a couple years before. He did say that too. He's like,
it's because they don't want to. They want to. Okay. No, I'm kidding. No conspiracy theory here.
He said that it's going to take it, probably a couple years. It's like, and one of the things he also said was, that we look at these things like a blizzard event. It's like, oh, everybody go get your French toast makings, and we're going to make it through this. It's like, no, this is not a fucking blizzard weekend. Yeah. This is the COVID-19 winter and possibly longer, where we need to be prepared for months of sustenance. And I mean, not that we can ever get out of the house. I mean, I think that there's, who knows? I mean, but yeah, it's probably not a bad idea to stock up on the essentials to go get the basics. But it's not. Yeah. That's not toilet paper. It's not a bad idea.
It's pretty essential.
To get a little bit. Well, I mean, at what point do you need to have a firearm because someone's going to come and take your Charmin?
Yeah. See, that's why I've been saying it's time for a gun, honey.
But I think that you just need to, stock up on your non-perishables, your canned goods, and frozen meats and things like that.
But what goes in comes out, Ryan, and you got to have some toilet paper.
I have a feeling that Americans are one of the biggest abusers of toilet paper, myself included. Yeah. It's like, you should probably, if you're eating a good diet and you're a healthy individual, you should probably be able to get away with like 4 squares for wiping.
You mean you're not one of those people that like rolls it around your hand and,
I
and like
absolutely am one of those
mummifies
people.
your
Yeah,
hand
absolutely.
and then takes one swipe and then throws it in?
I can't remember the last time I clogged a toilet. I just don't. And toilets get clogged because of toilet paper.
No comment.
Toilet paper is the cause, not poo. If you got poo that's the clog, you got issues. You got to go see a fucking doctor.
No comment.
But toilet paper is the cause of clogging toilets.
Yeah.
You don't need that fucking much, people. Use just enough.
Yeah.
Enough so that you don't get shit on your hand. That's the point of it. That's it's not meant to make a pillow for your sphincter so that you can it's stupid. Just fucking wipe your ass. Use like four sheets. I should practice what I preach, but you get my point.
Everybody's different.
How do we get to talking about wiping our asses?
Hoarding toilet paper.
Another way
you better be prepared.
Yeah, another way to spread the other diseases other than the coronavirus is by not washing your hands. Well, you don't go to the bathroom at work, but
and this is why I've been preparing for this my whole life, Ryan.
Well, yeah, I think that's not a bad idea, but it's also not fail safe because people, I see it, they leave the bathroom at work. I've watched them come out of the stall after shitting.
Oh yeah,
and they go right past the fucking sink out the door, touch the handle on their way out. Like,
why?
What the fuck?
Why do you think that is? Like,
it's the same as that bitch that fucking went to the mother-daughter dance.
I as a stretch, I can see people maybe peeing and not washing their hands. I mean, I agree with you, but I could, as a stretch, I could understand. Fine, you touched yourself. You're clean. You're pretty clean. You just showered today.
I guess. Yeah.
Fine. Whatever. But like once you start talking about wiping shit and having that in your hand with a thin piece of see-through paper as the barrier, you better wash your fucking hands. And the fact that people don't is like, what is going through their head? Do they think that the sink is dirtier than their ass?
I don't know.
Do they think there's more germs there than there is here? So I don't give a shit. Like what?
Old joke.
Or they don't care.
My dad used to tell that he was in the Navy, and it's a joke. I don't think it actually happened to him. I presume it's just a story that's been told for decades. But a soldier and a sailor are in a bathroom together. They both step up to the urinal. They both take a piss. The soldier's done before the sailor. He walks over. He starts washing his hands. The sailor gets done. He zips up or buttons his fly because sailors don't have zippers.
Okay. Wow.
And the sailor proceeds to walk out of the bathroom. The soldier stops the sailor and says, "Hey, in the Army, they teach us to wash our hands whenever we use the bathroom." And the sailor says, "Well, in the Navy, they teach us not to piss on our hands." Ta-dum-bum.
I love that, actually.
So,
That's good.
you should still wash your fucking hands.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you just touched your dick, and nobody wants your dick
splatter
juice.
and
There's a lot of things. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, I don't need your dick sweat or ball sweat.
We all know what those sailors do with those dicks.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
don't know, man.
We all know what
Are we talking village people sailors, or are we talking like sailors?
Any port in the storm. Oh, I get it. Okay. Somebody brought up recently with why didn't we freak out this much over like swine flu?
Is this another email that we got? These Mr. Emails.
No.
Okay.
I had a nice luncheon today with a concerned citizen.
A listener?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
That's a no.
And
was it a luncheon
he
or a
pointed
lunch?
out that
I feel like you probably had a lunch. You didn't have a luncheon.
it sounds better when it's a luncheon.
I think a luncheon is a different thing.
What is a luncheon?
I don't know, but I feel like it's different. I don't know. I have to look that up.
Fine. We had Cyberg's
had some wings.
chicken wing salad. So anyway, he pointed out that when the swine flu epidemic or whatever broke out, we already had vaccinations for that. We had treatments for it. It just became it wasn't like a mystery thing like this. Oh, we don't have anything for this. We got to develop a vaccination. It's going to take a year. We already had it. It was just a matter of getting it out there and treating people and stopping this from spreading. That's the difference. Coronavirus, we don't have a vaccination. We don't have any treatment for it. It's going to take 12 to 18 months to develop something and get it out. We have tests for it, but there's no treatment at this point as far as like stopping this. So that's the difference. Why didn't we freak out as much over swine flu and bird flu and stuff? Because we already knew of those things. We had methods to treat them.
I don't know that we did. I can't
That's
say.
what this person said.
I can't say one way or the other.
I can't
I think
verify
with like
that
SARS
right
and
now,
MERS, which are
Right.
they're both coronaviruses.
Related,
They,
yep.
they are very similar to this. That different, I think, in the way that they propagate, if that's the right word.
Yep.
But I think Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we were prepared for those things. Maybe they moved more slowly. Maybe, yeah, who knows? I don't. I think
It's to me, it seems like the problem. It could be just social media. It could be this particular political cycle where we want to blame it on the president.
I think there is a element to that.
It could be a lot of things that make our appeared response right now worse, or make it seem like this is worse.
That certain people in the media are very, very quickly pointing to Trump like, well, he's fucking this up. It's all his fault. It's like, how can,
he didn't react strongly enough early enough.
Actually,
come on.
I don't know what they would have done differently, or what any president would have done differently if it was Obama or Reagan or fucking Lincoln. Who knows? What they would have done differently.
I feel like Lincoln would have nipped this in the
he
bud,
probably would have had it squashed already. He probably would have beat it. But I feel like that a lot of people in the media are very quick to point the finger at Trump, and it's like, look, you can blame a lot of shit on that fucking dude.
Right.
He's definitely fucks up regularly, and he's needs to work on his use of social media. But I feel like it's a stretch to pin this on his ass.
Right.
It's like, how do you?
I feel like if it's anyone's fault, it's Buttigieg.
Yeah, it's all Pete.
Right. No, for no reason at all. Like, you could argue that he should have been stricter earlier, and
I think he was.
Forced,
he was criticized
true.
Whenever the first. I think it was sometime in January. I want to say it was late January, like mid to late January. That the government said, we're going to have a travel ban.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's had his history with travel bans that were controversial and very much criticized.
Now we wish we had them.
Well, but he implemented a travel ban,
right?
And he was criticized then that it was racist and xenophobic and this yada yada yada. But and then those same people today are saying, well, he didn't do enough. It's like, well, what he did do, which was probably the most logical and reasonable thing to do at the time, you criticized him for.
Yeah.
So what the fuck? Which way do you want it?
Yeah. And now these countries that are actually really up shit creek, China and Italy, are very much locking down their borders, locking down their economy, locking down all kinds of stuff.
And it raises the question of the wall on our southern border, and potentially maybe we need one on the northern border, that we need to know who the fuck is here.
Yeah.
We need to be like, how is Italy locking down these cities unless they have fences and borders and guards saying no, nobody out, nobody in? How is China able to say, you know what? Yep, we're locked down. The Wuhan province is secure. Nobody's coming in. Nobody's getting out unless they have perimeters. They have physical barriers to stop people from sneaking out and sneaking in. So not to say that we need to put bubbles around every city in North America, but we should be able to know who's here. We should be able to know. And we should be able to know who's left. If that same bitch that went to the father-daughter dance and got everybody fucking sick, she decides she wants to go on a little fucking tour of South America, we should be able to say, oh, bitch got out.
Right?
Everybody wash your shit. Fucking crazy broad.
Carla, come on.
Yeah, Carla's down in fucking, Nicaragua now, know, because there was a craft fair down there and she needed to, fucking bitch.
To be fair, maybe they didn't know that they should have been quarantined.
And Carla's
they
just representative.
Known, but
Carla is representative for all the Carlas and Carls out there in the world that
Carls and Carlas
that are out there just being assholes.
Bunch of Carls out there.
Hopefully we don't have any Carls. Yeah, well, no offense to any Carls out there that might be listening, but they're just representative. There's these people out there that think that they're fucking holier than thou. It's the same motherfuckers that think it's okay to text and drive, to think that they're that good of a driver that they can manage doing all these things at one time. You're not. Furthermore, if you got the fucking coronavirus, your shit is not more important than my shit. Stay your ass at home. Call up your fucking doctor and tell
Here's the thing. Now, I would say if it was you or me and we had, flu-like symptoms, let's just say,
well, we'd have to get the podcast
should we?
out.
I would be like, get over here now, Ryan. I would say, should we automatically assume that we have coronavirus and go get tested and quarantine ourselves and all this stuff just for having flu-like symptoms when up until now, there's nobody in our area that had it. That we don't work with anybody that had it.
Look,
that would be a little extreme. But this person came from Italy, was sent home as a precaution, came from Chicago, where we all know is a major part of the U.S. outbreak.
Well, it's a hub.
Like,
right.
okay, so now you clearly are a high risk person.
Yeah.
Should you have known better to self quarantine?
Yes.
Fucking right, you
Yes.
should have.
And even if she didn't, let's say, because she's a young person, right? She's 20.
20.
Right.
Her parents
so even if
shoulda
she
known.
didn't, right? Yeah. Her fucking derelict parents
Yeah.
should have slapped the shit out of her and said,
Right.
"No, you dumbass, stay home.
I
You don't want to
know.
get everybody sick." But then her dumbass father should have said, "Hey, honey, I can't take you to father-daughter dance this
Right.
year. Sorry, but we don't want to kill half the fucking population of the city." This
I know.
isn't hard to figure out.
And think about all the places they went are like that. The Ritz-Carlton. You think anybody's going to stay at the Ritz-Carlton for the next month?
Oh,
Nobody's going to want to go there. You think anybody's going to go to the gym that lady visited? Nobody's going to want to go to that
Yeah,
gym.
shit should be burnt to the ground.
Right?
So, yeah, what's funny is
Those businesses are going to be fucked for a while.
this thing was just kicking off in late January, right? It was just the beginning of it, and Corey and I were having to fly, and we had to go to Orlando, and we were both talking about like what the fuck,
Right.
well, I mentioned we should get, I need to get some Clorox wipes. I forgot. He remembered. Thank God, because those fucking tray tables are petri dishes, man. They're just disgusting fucking things.
Yeah.
You need to wipe that shit down. Everybody should wipe that shit. But now I think all these airlines out there are going through finally,
Yeah.
the first time since these planes have rolled off the assembly line, they're going through and they're steam cleaning the airplanes. It's probably the best thing that's been done.
The last time you cleaned your phone?
That's a solid point. Kristen asked, "When's the last time you cleaned your phone?" The Mythbusters not the Smithbusters, the Mythbusters did a thing on that. Didn't do it on the phone, but they did it on like the myth about the bathroom being the dirtiest place, and I think they discovered that like your desktop. Well, maybe your kitchen sink too, but your desktop at work, like
Yep.
where you eat your lunch. A lot of people eat their lunch at their desk at work, and that's one of the most disgusting places.
So, side note, sorry. When I was in high school, our biology class, advanced biology,
Look at you.
we did a test. Everybody who had their little petri dish and a piece of tape, and they were going to go around and get samples from different surfaces around the school.
Mm-hmm.
And we made a point of like, what's the worst place you could think, and what's like a place that you think maybe isn't that bad or whatever, right? And so, some of us went in the bathrooms and got samples from the sinks and the toilets and the toilet bowls and
went
all this shit,
and
right?
swabbed the crack of the janitor's ass, didn't
Yeah,
you?
it's the worst place I could think of.
That's probably a winner.
It's the dirtiest. No. And all these nasty places I could think of. And then the push buttons of the soda machines.
Okay.
And we came back and did all the tests and everything. And the soda machines were like tenfold worse with germs.
We did that.
And all the stuff in the bathroom was fairly clean because it actually gets
Because it
cleaned
gets
every
cleaned
once
all
in
the
a while.
time. Yeah,
Mop,
sure.
like a mop hair. Like, the mops.
Okay.
Hair style.
Hair.
Hey, I don't think he's
They
like.
call it hair mop. I think that's what
No, I don't think they call it that. Kristen thinks that a traditional mop is called a hair mop. But
I've
we're
never
gonna call
heard
it,
that
I don't
term,
know
but-
what they're called, but like a traditional mop, like the
Yeah.
mop, we'll call it dreadlocks.
Sure.
Oh, in the microwave. Microwave,
Oh, yeah, right.
So the microwave is grosser than the mop?
as I recall.
Well, I imagine that makes sense because the
Yeah,
mop is.
the mop's getting soaked in soap all the
bleach.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, bleach.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gross. I mean, if
Yeah, I
you ever
wouldn't
worked
eat
in a
off
kitchen,
of it, but
yeah, I mean, or any restaurant, yeah, I mean, the
When's
mop
the last-
bucket is disgusting.
But how gross is that to think that the microwave handle and buttons and the soda machine buttons haven't been cleaned in probably years?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what comes up when you search
Hold on.
So Kristen's Googled hair mop.
hair mop.
It's not even
Bunch
what the
of
hell. What kind of?
people
You're
with
just talking
afros.
about like a wet mop. Yeah. What are they calling that? What the fuck are you? What are you?
What are you doing?
This is great radio.
Mhm.
hair mop.
Traditional mop. Let's just
I
call it a
think
mop.
the word you're looking for
Wet mop.
is anyway.
A mop. Yeah. Anyway, I'm looking for it. Or she's looking for it. Me? Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Ryan.
yeah, she wrote me
Kristen's still
in. She
looking
sucked
for-
me into the
That's
conversation
what
about
she does.
mops.
I know.
Yeah. Anywho.
Well, anyway, we're an
where are we
hour
at here?
in.
An hour.
Yeah.
An hour.
And I don't know. I mean, there's so much to
Hey,
kind
Jared.
of hit. Yeah.
I gotta ask.
Go.
If tomorrow, the CDC came out and said we've discovered a vaccine for the novel coronavirus.
Right. 19.
Everybody should go get it ASAP. We've got plenty for every man, woman, and child in the United States of America, go to your local license office or wherever the fuck to get it, or your
Walgreens,
whatever, CVS, Walgreens, your whatever. Would you go?
I think depending on how bad it was in my immediate area, as of now, we only know of one case in the St. Louis area.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's kind of like that, then I'm going to wait. I would wait a week or two and see if
other people fucking dropping
get
dead.
the vaccination and they go, holy fuck, I don't feel good, right? I would wait to see if that happens. And then if I didn't know anybody that went and got the vaccination who then came down with symptoms, I would.
You understand that that's kind of the idea of it, though, is that the symptoms are less. That like if you don't get like just for the influenza A, for example, we're going to rehash this real quick.
Know.
Just for influenza A, if you go and get the vaccination, you may show some minor signs, but it's far better than not being vaccinated and getting influenza A and getting life-threatening illness.
That's what they want you to think.
That's exactly what happens, though.
But how many people? How many people have to say I got the vaccination?
Why are they lying to you?
And then I came down with the flu, and it was the worst case of flu I've ever had.
There's a lot of variables that you're not taking into account there. They may have already been exposed to it beforehand, as we know from this coronavirus thing here.
That's what everybody says.
But that's because
they already had it. Or that's because they got a different strain.
But you don't know.
It's not because they literally injected their body with a version of the vaccine. Like, it can't be that. It's got to be these other unlikely
It's definitely
things.
the doctors are all out to kill us. Let's go with that. Let's go with that theory as opposed to others.
Why is it so absurd?
I'm just saying that it's absurd the way you're thinking. But we've already rehashed that too many times. And I'm just going to agree with you like I said at the beginning.
I would have to think about it to get a corona.
I think you should.
See?
I think you shouldn't get the vaccination and you should just write it out because you don't want to be too precautious
and full agreement with me.
Potentially catch something that the government or the man or some evil doctor will call him. Who's an evil doctor?
This is how fucking I Am Legend happens. You rush
That's a movie, Jared.
You rush a vaccine through.
That's a movie.
You skip all the protocols. You skip all the shit, the trials on rats, and you go, look, we got it. Here it is. Get it out to everybody. Next thing you know, fucking zombies are attacking your ass.
So
because we all injected ourselves with this
everybody
shit.
out there, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't get vaccinated. Just it's all just the government trying to get you. So just go out and take on viruses all by your little lonesome, and you're going to be just fine because you're going to turn into a zombie otherwise. Because that's what happened to Will Smith.
I'm just saying,
or his dog.
Something like that. If you
did his wife turn into a zombie? That's who eventually he was trying to save them. It's a great movie,
right?
Yeah, but it
is a good movie.
It's fictional.
I'm just saying that's how that kind of thing happens. You rush through the coronavirus vaccine.
Someday we're going to get to the bottom of The Walking Dead and figure out what the fuck happened there. Do you think there'll ever be an end to The Walking Dead where they like figure out like, oh, this is it. This is what happened,
right? And
like they're in a mountain somewhere and they finally come up with a solution for the problem. You think we'll ever get to that point?
Probably
like 2040 with season whatever episode 4 billion. Rick comes back. I figured it out.
Carl, where's Carl? Where is he? Carl.
Fucker's been dead for 50 years.
Fuck.
Rick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm just saying.
We know what you're saying.
If you drew a correlation to anything else,
that it should be I Am Legend.
You would be like, I would never do that. But when it's a vaccination, you go, oh yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
it's fine.
Okay.
I drank this coffee and I got diarrhea, but it definitely wasn't the coffee. And everybody else, not everybody.
Another funny story.
A few other people I know had the same coffee and they got diarrhea, but it wasn't the coffee. Don't worry, it's not the coffee.
Wise gentleman that I grew up knowing, my friend of my dad's, that he was notorious for waking up the morning after drinking copious amounts of alcohol and feeling like complete fucking garbage,
right? And
blaming the tuna salad or something that he ate the night before. It was never the bottle of gin that he drank.
Your dad?
No, my friend, my dad's friend. He was a friend of mine too.
Sorry.
I mean, Mr. Hickey, we'll call him.
Okay,
that's his real name, Mr. Hickey.
Because that's his real name.
Yeah. No, he's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
And he could drink like the day is long.
Yeah.
But he would wake up feeling like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, man, there's something wrong with the water down here. I don't know. Something's going on.
Right.
You know, there's something wrong with that pizza I ate last night.
It's not because I can't handle my alcohol.
It can't be that you drank a bottle of gin and a case of beer. Couldn't be that. No, that's unheard of. You know.
I do that every weekend.
So yeah, drawing correlations is dangerous business. But you know what? again, I would point to these guys called scientists or doctors that some people don't really put a lot of stock in or faith in, but that's just my opinion.
I'm just saying.
I would advise
I'd wait a couple weeks to see.
I would
if this
advise
is how
everybody
it's playing
within the
out.
sound of my voice to listen to the doctors and the scientists in today's current state of medical wellness, societal wellness. I would listen to these people, and if there becomes a solution to this problem, aka a vaccine,
I fully admit.
run, don't walk to the first place where you can get it.
If shit is hitting the fan and everybody in the region is getting coronavirus and there's some vaccination, I'll probably go get it. But if it stays sort of how it is, where no one around us has it, it's not really spreading like wildfire yet, I'm not going to run out and inject myself with some mostly untested vaccination.
You know what? I'll buy into what you're saying there. That I don't want to be the first motherfucker,
right? Yeah,
but I'm not going. But I'm not going to sit back and be like, "Well, I think they're all just out to get me. I'm just going to take my chances."
I know.
We went to visit my father-in-law. Well, I had to go pay the bill,
right.
And so my wife was ill, and we knew because we got an email from the facility that they had locked shit down.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think it's a smart, very, very smart thing.
I agree.
I mean, these are all older folks, typically.
Susceptible, right?
Yeah, it's very sad for them because they're lonely, and we've gotten a couple calls from my father-in-law. He's like, "Oh, we need to come and visit," and it's tough because she's legitimately sick, not coronavirus sick, but she's got a cold, you know,
right.
and they're not going to let her in. I mean, so when I walked in to pay the bill.
They shouldn't normally, right? I don't know what they normally
do. They tell you,
that.
like, if you're sick, try to stay away.
Right.
And they do have the masks, too. I think that if you do have a cold or something like that, they ask that you wear
went
a mask. We went there, and O and I were going to go in and just say hey to Grandpa and pay the bill. They wouldn't let me through the front door.
Wow.
Well, it's a breezeway, right?
So there's
a first door, and then there's a second door. The second door is always locked. Doesn't matter. It's always locked.
Mm-hmm.
It's a memory care facility, so it stops people from leaving.
Getting out, yep.
So you have to ring a doorbell, and then they come and they're like, "Oh, okay, we know you." They let you in. Or if they don't know you, you say, "I'm here to see blah blah blah," and they let you in. So this time, two people come to the door. One says, "I know them. They're so and so, but you need to go out and talk to them." So another nurse comes out with a clipboard and a temporal thermometer, and she's like, "So what are you here to do?" And I said, "Well, I need to pay this bill, and we were thinking about seeing Ron." And they're like, "Oh, okay, I need you to fill out this." I'm like, "I don't need to see Ron that bad. just take the payment."
I don't do paperwork.
Well, I didn't want to go through all these hoops.
Sure.
I honestly wasn't feeling that great that day. I had a little bit of a sore throat, so I didn't want to bring any question into it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to play it safe, and we're going to drop this off. You guys go. Now, but here's this envelope that I handed to them.
Right.
Who knows what I've done with this envelope?
Hold on.
Yeah. So anyway,
okay, here you go.
But they're just taking every precaution that they can, and I get it, and I think it's the right way to do things. They are
that
definitely
demographic is the most likely to die from
but
this.
they are preventing the house from catching on fire, as opposed to what schools are doing,
right?
What our public schools here locally are doing, what universities across the country are doing. They're waiting. I think in a lot of cases they're waiting for the fire to kick off before they take action, and I think it's a fool's path. I think that's not the right way to go about it, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I went from 2 days ago being like, it's not that big a deal. Today I'm an alarmist. I've completely come full circle. And 2 days from now I may go the other way. I don't know. It depends. The other thing is, like, we're in this desert, this like information desert. I hate to go back to Corey, but him and I were talking today, and he's like, "Oh, there's all kinds of information out there," and he pointed out a couple of us, and there's some good information out there. The one we talked about, the sick map, that there's
I've been trying to find that again. There's so many other ones.
There's a couple of different varieties of it, but
anyway.
We could track it down a little bit. But you should listen to the last episode of the podcast where we gave you instructions how to get there.
I know.
But
I'm so confident. I'm like, people are washing their hands. I'm like, and then I see this lady not wash her hands
today. She goes to the bathroom and some lady didn't wash her hands.
Yeah, you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands. But especially now.
Right.
Well, people are just I mean,
and where you were isn't that far from where the St. Louis outbreak is.
So many people are they're self-entitled. They think that they've got this holier than thou. It can't happen to me. I'm the exception. It goes. I mean, I'm telling you, texting and driving. There's so many examples of this where people think like, "Oh no, it doesn't apply to me. I'm better than everybody else."
Yeah.
I think we're invincible.
Yeah, I think,
yeah.
what?
Especially if it benefits.
Especially if you're inconvenienced. Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's a guy at work who has all along been, and even today, is like, whatever, you guys are so fucking overreacting to all this coronavirus. I'm tired of hearing about it, that kind of thing. And then when I said, it might have been yesterday, we pointed out that this chick brought it to St. Louis and then they broke quarantine and went to this dance. He was all pissed. Fuck them. They should be sued. I'm like, you just said we're all
It's not a big deal.
overreacting. It's no big deal. It's just like the flu. Well, then what do you care if they
Well, probably because
leave their
before that
house?
he was making assumptions that everybody's going to be a responsible
I guess.
human being.
Yeah.
And
You can't assume
no,
that.
there's the world is filled with
People are
giant
assholes.
assholes.
Yep.
And they're just unavoidable. There's no way around it. So one of these days, probably within the next week or two, my company, I think, could be wrong, is going to say, you know what? If you can, work from home.
Yeah.
I got a survey today from my employer that said, if needed, could you? Do you have reliable Wi-Fi? Do you have a laptop? Do you have is there anything that you would need in order to work from home? And I checked like, nope, good, because I work from home multiple times a week already. So yeah, I think I'm 99% sure everybody in the company got that.
Yeah.
That same message, and my company is preparing for that inevitability, I think. And great.
Yeah.
Great.
Our company just set something out today that basically said, it kind of sucks, but they basically said, we're treating this like any other illness. If you come down with the flu, stay home and use a sick day. If you come down with coronavirus, stay home and use a sick day. And they're not even saying anything about work from home, getting paid to work from home, none of that. It was just like, we're treating this just like anything else is basically what they're saying. And it's like, well,
I think I agree with them there.
okay.
I think I agree that if you're sick, if you get sick from it, yeah.
Well, absolutely.
I'm talking about the well people that are capable of working and
but
are
that's
not
what I'm
sick.
saying. They are not promoting that. And there's people I could work from
give them
home
time.
and they aren't saying, maybe in 2 weeks they will be telling everybody, go stay home.
Maybe in a day. I didn't expect to see some of the stuff that I've seen from my employer. And, I think it's going to happen pretty quickly that companies that can will allow for it, and those that can't will make precautions or adjustmants or accommodations.
I mean, you obviously can't have a Walmart tell everybody work from home.
No.
I mean, it doesn't work that way. But yeah,
but I went through my desk drawer today because I go to the conferences and stuff like that, and they always give you these little bitty bottles of Germex and stuff like that. And so I've got a couple of them laying around, and I had a bottle in my cabinet. Got it all out. I brought some home, threw in my truck. I'm like this shit's worth top dollar.
It's gold. Yeah.
So, but I've been using the crap out of it, and it's but only when I'm in like public. Like when I was at the office, I was Germexing the shit out of it. But when I get home, it's like, it's okay. I'm okay here. But what I don't know is that
your kids brought something home.
Yeah, the Big O goes and runs his hand down the railing at school, and
Yep.
Damn it.
Right? Why did I even let you in my house?
I gotta go fumigate the child.
Yeah.
I gotta go hose him down.
They don't know any better.
Get in the backyard. Time to hose you down. Dad, it burns.
You guys have heard us bitch about this shit enough. We could go on and on about the economic impact, the political impact, the social impact, the health impact. It could potentially be really bad, or this could all go away in a week or two. And we'll be talking about it about as much as we talk about the bird flu.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be quick, but I do think at some point, in the it'll be before we know it, we're going to be sitting around being like, hey, remember that?
Right.
That was fucked up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how SARS and MERS.
Remember when you had a full family and they weren't dead?
Yeah.
That was fucked up.
That's terrifying. But I mean, that's how we look at the swine flu and the mad cow and all those MERS, SARS, etc. That they're all just like, oh yeah, well they were handled. So you just hope at this point I think we have no choice but to put our faith in the
vaccinations.
Well, in the scientific community of the world, right? Not just the U.S., but we're talking the World Health Organization, the CDC, the ECDC. I mean, all of these organizations that this is what they do. This is what they prepare for, and we hope that, and I have to think that they have thrown every resource available at this effort, and that they will, as quickly as possible, they will come to whether it's a vaccination or it's like, all right, we got to start shooting people. Whatever the solution is. Hopefully it's the first.
So along those lines, just before we wrap this up, that article that I was reading from earlier, I'm not going to read it now, but it specifically kind of mentioned in Italy, they said the doctors were sort of equating it to wartime triage centers where attending doctors and nurses and stuff have to decide who lives, who dies,
I heard something about
who gets the next available ICU bed, right? And they said it's not all people with coronavirus.
Yeah.
If the hospital's full of coronavirus victims and you have a heart attack, well, sorry, you got to wait, or this bed's not available, or this machine, or whatever.
The guy on Rogan was talking about some of the same stuff that he had gotten an email, or someone he worked with got an email from someone in Rome or somewhere in Italy, Milan, and said similar thing.
So as these medical resources get stretched thin,
they're no longer making decisions on severity of case and when do we treat it's do we treat,
right?
And that's a scary reality that I don't think people are prepared for. That if it were to get to that critical mass in the U.S. where we start to see, all right, well, if someone's over 80. What's the line?
Right.
Or if
that line could become 60 before you know it.
Right. Yeah. Right. And we don't know. And it's scary stuff. So we just don't, we have to do everything to keep it from that. And luckily for us, we live in the most advanced economy and the most advanced society in the world. And the United States medical industrial complex, the medical complex specifically, is more advanced than arguably anywhere in the world.
So I've heard Italy has one of the best healthcare systems.
Maybe,
I don't know.
maybe not.
No, apparently not.
I mean, they're also smaller. They're a small country. So I mean, but we have resources. We can pool resources. We can pull them in from across a very large, the whole continent, really. And so hopefully, I don't think it'll be that catastrophic. But
fingers crossed.
It's also fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
it
is.
But then talk to me in 3 days, and I'll be like, it's all fucking hoax.
It's fine. Where's my Coors?
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
well,
could you
let's
imagine if there was some? Hold on.
Yeah.
Is there any cases in Denver?
Uh-oh.
I mean, should
I
we
don't think
stop
so yet.
drinking the Stones and the Coors Lights?
Yeah, man.
Smoke. Well, we could start smoking.
We're switching to weed.
Speaking of smoking weed, maybe that should be an episode.
The next episode.
It is legal here, but it's not legal for you, though, is it?
No, I still can't.
I don't know if I think my employer's like, fuck it. But I don't know. That's a good question. I have to look into that. I have to check on that.
And there's still this whole, it's legal in states, but is it still federally illegal? So, you're breaking a federal law, but you're abiding by state law?
I don't know. I think it gets to the point where, if it's legal, if it's eventually nationwide legal, but your employer says, no.
Right.
You cannot. Well, that goes back to, like Henry Ford was widely, he was anti-Semite, number one. But he would stalk his employees. You remember when he hated Jews and he hated smokers? Who knew, right?
Smokers, okay.
Yeah, right. So, and this is in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking smoked, right? But he would stalk his employees and he would go spy on them in their houses. And if he caught them fucking smoking, he'd reprimand them the next day at work or whatever. I don't know. He was a fucking psychopath. That's why.
Okay.
I don't know why he did it, but that's where we're getting at with this, the weed thing.
Right.
It's well, everybody would frown upon let people smoke if they want to smoke, or let people drink if they want to drink.
So do you think, is it that you can't, and I don't know, can you detect, they say that you'll have traces of weed in your system for a month after you've smoked. So you can't tell if they're high at work or if they got high last night at home.
Right. Well,
if you test them, right?
But
so
would
we don't know.
Your employer allow
alcohol?
Right. Would your employer allow you to do your job drunk if you had a blood alcohol content over the legal limit?
No, they would not. They would frown upon that.
So, but if you drank copious amounts of Fireball, for example, on a Tuesday night, and then rolled into work,
no one would ever do that.
Maybe a little bit late on the Wednesday morning.
I mean,
arguably still
my
intoxicated.
That's never happened.
Would they frown upon that?
Well, yeah. But if you weren't sure and you tested someone for alcohol content, and what they drank 30 days ago showed up in their system,
But I'm pretty sure the next day, if you'd have blown into a breathalyzer,
I should not have driven to work that day.
Yeah, I should not have driven to the airport that day
to get your son of all people.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, that was a mistake, and that won't happen again because we've sworn off Fireball.
I mean, I was fine. I just was tired.
Fine. I was
just really tired.
Blowing at 0.8, but or wait,
it was like 10 o'clock or something, 11 o'clock. It was plenty late.
That was bad news. And honestly, I turned down on more than one occasion Fireball this past previous weekend, past weekend. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway.
People trying to feed you Fireball.
Oh man,
those bastards!
It was on our Memphis trip. God, it was brutal. Yeah. I just was like, nope, not doing it. Nope, ain't gonna happen.
Bad news. Now, American Honey.
News. Yeah,
American Honey. Have you ever had American Honey?
No, I don't know. I don't think
that's
so.
Good shit. It's I got a bottle. Well, I don't think I have American Honey, but I have the.
If you want to send us a box of American Honey,
no, don't do that. Bottle be good. Bottle.
Shot glass.
Yep. No, but I got a bottle of Jim Beam. It's I don't know what it's called. It's called something honey. It's got got like a beehive.
Oh yeah,
design on
it. We do have that Jim Beam.
We get it to make.
We have a bottle of because you wanted to make hot toddies when one of us is sick. So we have half a bottle left of Jim Beam, whatever
you
that.
You need that for hot toddies? I don't even know what a hot toddy
bourbon
is.
It's like honey and
lemon juice and bourbon.
Sounds terrible.
It's supposed to clear you up.
Unless the goal is to put me to sleep.
Yeah.
And then maybe. But then I'm probably going to have heartburn or I'm not going to be able to sleep.
It's supposed to be the steamy warm vapors, the honey, which is supposed to be coat your throat, and then the alcohol just is there for good measure.
Knock your ass out,
Yeah, soothing. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, we thank you for listening and getting our take on the coronavirus and the state of the world. So if you want to let us know whether or not you...
Is that what we just provided?
I think so. The state of the world. Wash your hands.
Wash everything.
Yeah.
Wash your balls. Wash your phone. Yeah. Clean that shit.
So let us know if you work somewhere that's changed their policies, or if you have a kid in a college that's closed down for.
They're not gonna.
But if they want to, how can they let us know?
I think they're not gonna fucking listen. I'm not even gonna provide it anymore.
We occasionally get some feedback from people.
No.
Wow.
Well, you want me to give them your email address?
I want them to give your email address.
You could send a carrier pigeon to 62298.
Ryan is so jaded.
Well, I'm pissed.
Every third person has a podcast, and so they don't bother writing into ours.
Well, no.
Right? Is that what you're saying?
Come on, man. We're not asking for much.
You're breaking the illusion. They think we have thousands of... We can't even get through all the fan mail that we have.
I don't think I've ever built
pictures
that illusion
of our
up. I think I've...
female listeners.
Wow. Do we want that?
We have it already. Thousands of them, right?
Wow, we're drawing... Okay. Sure.
The illusion, Ryan.
Yeah.
Breaking the illusion.
Yeah, I don't know. I've ever really bought into that myself.
Yeah.
But sure. We want feedback. I guess we do.
Fine. Don't bother. Ryan's not going to read it anyway.
Load this podcast at gmail.com. At Load This Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And or that carrier pigeon might work. Or if, you happen to run into Jared and I at the office, just let us know what you think.
Yeah. Just give us a swift kick to the nuts.
Or if you have our personal email, feel free to drop us a line there. Or you want to call me, you got my number? Yeah, give me a call. We'll talk about it. Or if you want to call Kristen. Some people have, specifically in the greater upper northwestern United States. We do have some listeners up there.
We do.
Who I feel like may be acquaintances of other people that might be in our presence currently.
Mm-hmm.
And they are fucking front lines on this coronavirus shit.
Yeah.
We ought to get some take on that, right? I mean, we got some listeners up there. So.
Mm-hmm.
If you happen to be in the greater Portland area, let us know.
For all our Italian listeners out there, be careful. And I don't know what that was. Yeah.
That's Italian, I think.
And, wash your hands.
What is bafangul? I don't know.
Right in.
Yeah.
Load this podcast at gmail.com or on Twitter at Load This Podcast. All right. Let's wrap it up.
Do you think pizza is going to start taking a hit, like the pizza industry, because the Italians are fucked up? I mean, like the American pizza.
Right.
Market,
I don't think American.
We're going to be okay.
Emos. Right? We still got emos. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not real pizza according to some people, but I enjoy it. All right. Well, until next time, where we're going to talk about what? weed or something? Or
maybe.
I thought we isolated what this next show will be about. I don't. Who knows?
Well, pot might be
right.
good. We doing that tonight? We need to make a run. I need to make some phone calls.
Okay. You got a guy?
Well, we're gonna have to see if he's awake. That's gonna be rough. It's kind of late.
Yeah, it's getting there.
See how it goes.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm Jared.
I'm Ryan.
And get a load of this.
Bye.